Picture the exact moment the illusion shattered. You are standing in the middle of your perfectly managed life, staring at a phone screen. A cold, heavy realization drops into your stomach. The person you allowed past your impenetrable walls has been lying to you. The very first question that echoes in your mind is not about their character. It is a brutal, self-directed interrogation. How could I be so stupid? You are a fiercely independent Generation X woman who survived the profound silence of a latchkey childhood by learning to rely on absolutely no one. You built a life and a career out of extreme confidence and hypervigilance. You were taught that vulnerability was a life-threatening liability. But eventually, human biology demands connection. When you finally decided to lower the heavy drawbridge to your fortress, you did not do it casually. You committed entirely. You offered this person the fierce, unwavering loyalty that you had always craved for yourself. So when the betrayal occurred, it felt like a complete psychological collapse. You assumed you were targeted because you were somehow broken or foolish. But society pushes a highly dangerous myth, the idea that manipulators prey on the weak. The clinical reality is the exact opposite. You were targeted specifically because of your extraordinary strengths. Narcissists look for valuable resources to consume, like your high empathy and achievements. You operated with a massive conscientiousness gap. The assumption that the person across from you lived by the same moral rulebook as you. What makes this so effective is that it begins with intense mirroring. They reflected back a dazzling version of yourself that included all your brilliance. This love-bombing phase flooded your brain's reward circuitry with dopamine, creating a powerful neurological hook long before your rational mind could evaluate reality. When the mask finally slipped, you experienced betrayal trauma, violation by someone you relied on, shattering your assumptive world. Instead of walking away, your latchkey conditioning kicked in. Women tend to internalize the pain through intense self-blame and hyper-commitment. You became trapped in agonizing cognitive dissonance, forced to hold to conflicting truths. You loved this person, and they were systematically deceiving you. Your nervous system, terrified of old abandonment wounds, screamed to hold on, while the cold evidence of their lies sat right in front of you. To survive, your brain engaged in betrayal blindness. You pushed reality out of awareness to keep your world from completely collapsing. You did not stay because you were weak. You stayed because your resilient nervous system was hijacked by someone using your best qualities against you. In Part 2, we will explore the reality of one-sided relationships and how you can begin to reclaim the reality you lost. You wake up the morning after the truth is revealed, and the world feels fundamentally altered. The deception has completely shattered what psychologists call your assumptive world, the core belief system, and that the environment you live in and the partner you chose as your safe harbor are honest, meaningful, and secure. But instead of packing your bags and walking out the door, you find yourself paralyzed. You sit on the edge of the bed, staring at the person sleeping next to you, completely trapped in an excruciating psychological vice grip. This is known as cognitive dissonance. You are being forced by your own brain to hold to entirely conflicting, irreconcilable truths. You loved this person with everything you had, and they have been systematically lying to you. It feels like your mind is splitting in two. You are battling a profound, agonizing conflict between love versus reality. You gave yourself fully to this partnership, offering unwavering loyalty, only to realize the reality you thought you were living in was an intricately constructed illusion built on secrets. To understand why you cannot simply walk away, you have to look at the neurobiology of human connection. You are enduring a brutal internal war between your attachment and the evidence. Over the years, your nervous system formed a deep, secure feeling attachment to your partner. Your biology literally wired itself to view this person as your primary source of emotional safety and regulation. So when the factual evidence sits right in front of you, the texts, the hidden accounts, your logical brain screams at you to run, but your neurobiological attachment system, terrified of abandonment, screams even louder, begging you not to let go. Your body goes into pure survival mode, viewing the loss of the attachment as a life or death threat. It is an impossible negotiation. The biological drive for connection is actively fighting the cold, hard facts of their deceit. Caught in this crossfire, you grapple with a third devastating conflict: hope versus self-abandonment. A part of you desperately hopes that they will change, that the line will permanently stop, and that the relationship can somehow be salvaged. But waiting for that change requires you to swallow your own reality. It requires you to act as if everything is okay when your world is on fire. You realize that by staying and minimizing the damage, you risk committing the ultimate act of self-abandonment. You are terrified that by treating the betrayal as a minor hurdle, you are treating yourself as if your pain does not matter. Why is this your default response? Why do you try to fix it rather than walking away? The answer lies in your 1980s childhood. You are a Generation X woman who was subjected to profound emotional parentification. From a very young age, you were tasked with managing the emotional weather of your household. You served as the confidant, mediator, and emotional regulator for the adults around you who were unavailable or overwhelmed. You learned that your value lay in your ability to handle crises, absorb tension, and demand absolutely nothing in return. Research shows that adults who were parentified as children are highly prone to repeating these exact dynamics in their relationships. The child who had to parent their own parents' feelings seamlessly transitions into the adult who handles their partner's dysfunction. So when the ultimate crisis of romantic betrayal hits, your latchkey conditioning takes over. Studies reveal a distinct gendered response. While men often externalize distress, women tend to internalize it through profound self-blame. You respond not with the righteous exit, but by increasing your emotional investment. Driven by a subconscious fear of abandonment, you engage in massive overcompensatory behaviors. You become hypercommitted. You increase your nurturing, attempting to outwork, outlove, and outmanage their toxic behavior. You believe if you can just be perfect enough, you can fix the brokenness inside them and restore your security. But this hyper-responsibility traps you in a one-sided dynamic, leading to a very specific, devastating brand of isolation. You have become the person everyone leans on, the one who always answers the phone, the shock absorber for everyone else's pain. Yet, as you repair a betrayal you did not cause, You realize that no one is catching you. You are surrounded by people, yet you are existing in total emotional solitude. You have dozens of contacts, but absolutely no true confidence. It is the specific loneliness of knowing exactly what to say when no one else does, but having nobody to fall apart in front of. You are waiting for someone to notice your silence, to call you before you call them, and to simply ask, "How are you, really?" Instead, you are drowning in emotional exhaustion and burnout, carrying the weight of a shattered partnership entirely on your own. You are trying to sustain a broken relationship on the emergency generator power of your own. Relentless competence. But human physiology cannot endure this indefinitely. The toll of suppressing your own needs is silently destroying you. In Part 3, we will explore the severe physical and psychological breaking point of this dynamic. How your body begins to keep the score through chronic illness and fatigue. And why this forces a terrifying midlife reckoning. You thought you could outwork the betrayal. You are a Generation X woman. Your entire life has been built on the premise that if you just try harder, plan better, and endure longer, you can fix absolutely any problem. But one morning, you wake up and realize you cannot fix this. Your mind has been desperately trying to hold together the shattered fragments of what psychologists call your assumptive world. The fundamental, core belief that the partner you chose was honest, secure, and safe. You have spent months, perhaps years, trapped in the agonizing cognitive dissonance of loving someone who has been systematically lying to you. You have tried to out-nurture their toxicity, internalizing the distress through self-blame and engaging in excessive caretaking to restore harmony. You functioned as the ultimate shock absorber, absorbing their dysfunction until it drained you completely. But while your rational mind was busy, hoping, mediating, and managing the crisis, your physical body was quietly keeping a meticulous, devastating tally. Today, your body is staging a full-scale biological revolt. To understand why you feel like you are physically dying, you have to look under the hood of your own traumatized nervous system. Betrayal trauma is not just a painful emotional experience. It is a profound neurological assault. When the person you rely on most for emotional support becomes the source of your deepest pain, it creates an impossible, terrifying conflict. The neurobiology of this trauma fundamentally alters the regions of your brain responsible for stress and emotional regulation. Your amygdala, the brain sphere center, becomes intensely hyperactivated, while your prefrontal cortex is effectively suppressed. Furthermore, the chronic, daily stress damages your hippocampus, making it incredibly difficult to distinguish between past trauma and present safety. Human bodies were never designed to run on emergency generator power while sleeping next to the enemy. The biological cost of your hypercommitment and emotional overinvestment is staggering. Trauma survivors are twice as likely to suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome and face a 65% higher risk of fibromyalgia, the crushing brain fog, digestive problems, and cellular exhaustion are not signs of weakness. They are manifestations of a system collapsing. And this physiological breaking point is arriving at the most demanding, chaotic phase of your entire life, midlife. You are the core of the sandwich generation, caught between caring for aging parents and raising children who need you. You navigate career pressures and hormonal transitions while carrying the secret. Toxic weight of betrayal. You present a flawless, composed exterior to the world. Because that is what you've done since you were a latchkey kid in 1978. You suffer in absolute silence, contributing to a statistic where 9 out of 10 Gen X women do not seek professional help. Every time you swallow your pain to keep the peace, you are telling your nervous system that your safety doesn't matter. Your body's collapse is nada. Betrayal, it is an urgent intervention. It is your biology screaming at you to stop. To survive, you must stop trying to fix the person who lied to you and turn that energy towards saving yourself. Reaching this breaking point is terrifying. But it is also the beginning of your liberation. It's time to walk away. You have hit the absolute physical and emotional breaking point. Your body has staged a full-scale revolt against the deception. You finally see the illusion for exactly what it is, with cellular certainty that you have to leave. But knowing you need to walk away and actually doing it are two entirely different battles. When you finally stand at the threshold, preparing to pack your bags, you do not feel empowered or relieved. You feel like you are stepping off a cliff into an absolute abyss. Leaving is not a simple decision. It is a brutal neurobiological withdrawal. For years, your brain has been trapped in a highly addictive cycle. The toxic partner fed you moments of dazzling affection and deep mirroring. This was followed unpredictably by periods of cold withdrawal and subtle gaslighting, forging what psychology calls a betrayal bond. Your nervous system became biologically addicted to the very person causing you pain, confusing anxiety and relief with passionate love. Walking away means severing that bond. And your body reacts with the exact same physiological panic as a literal drug withdrawal. To understand why leaving feels so impossible, you have to look back at the quiet, empty houses of your 1980s childhood. As a Gen X woman, you were raised to manage crises and keep the fragile adults around you from falling apart. You learned to suppress your own needs, absorbing the cultural message that your ultimate value lay in your relentless competence. So, when you declare you are walking away, your exhausted nervous system perceives this as a literal life or death threat to your survival. Your brain screams that by abandoning the role of caretaker, you are risking total abandonment and isolation. Setting a boundary triggers a flood of immense guilt, making it biologically easier to stay and endure the betrayal than to face the unknown. To break free, you must systematically dismantle the agonizing cognitive dissonance that has kept you completely paralyzed. You must now force your rational mind and your attachment system to look at the exact same set of cold, hard facts. Stop listening to the potential of who they could be, and look clinically at the indisputable evidence of who they actually are. Accept the truth that your immense empathy cannot outlove their toxicity. You cannot fix a person who uses your best qualities as weapons. Walking away means you must face the profound grief of losing the relationship and mourning the deeply held illusion. You have to grieve the future you thought you were building. The love and loyalty you gave were entirely genuine, even if they weren't. But staying in a reality built on secrets requires you to commit the ultimate act of self-abandonment. Stop setting yourself on fire. Leaving the illusion requires working against your biology. Every time you hold your boundary, you are physically rewiring your nervous system. You are teaching your brain that you no longer have to earn your space by managing someone else's secrets. You are engaging in the vital healing of the parentified child inside you, finally offering yourself the safety you missed. You are taking the fierce problem-solving energy you wasted on saving them and redirecting it entirely towards saving yourself. Breaking the betrayal bond is excruciating, but it is the only path back to reality. In Part 5, we will explore the aftermath, how to rebuild your shattered world and transform betrayal into impenetrable, authentic power.